The Terrifying Lies Podcast, with music and stories by Craig Nybo. Hello, friends, and welcome to the Terrifying Lies Podcast. I'm your host, Craig Nybo. I would be honored if you would consider backing it at patreon.com/terrifyinglies for even $5 a month. Every bit helps. Share your favorite episode on social media and leave a positive review. It means more than you know. Enough of that. Let's get on with what we came here to do. Tonight's tale is part 7 of a 10-part saga. If you start now, you might find yourself a bit bewildered. Here's the story so far. A crack squad of 5 alien creatures with their race on the brink of defeat at the hands of their mortal enemies have gone to space aboard a salvaged Earth vessel in search of allies. After encountering a group of ferocious space pirates, they have locked them in their own enemy-infested spaceship and are about to board the Blood Drive, the ship of the space pirates. But what will they find inside? Can a group of 5 space beetles hope to stow away aboard an enormous pirate space cruiser undetected? Or have they met their end? Well, you'll have to listen to find out. The story is entitled The Poison Nickels Across the Universe, Part 7 of 10. The atmospheric docking port extended 100 yards into space. It had detached from the USS Arlington and was retracting into the belly of the Blood Drive. The Poison Nickels carried their instruments through the long, upward arching port, grunting with the effort of getting the instruments to safety on the other side. Winkle reached the Blood Drive airlock first. A similar code pad sat mounted in the wall to the right of the door. He tried the same code that had worked on the pad inside the Earth vessel. The locking mechanism clacked. Winkle smiled and pushed the door open. One by one, the Poison Nickels filed through the airlock and placed their instruments next to the inner wall of an enormous room that had once been a hangar. The chamber now functioned as a storage area for junk. Bins of what looked like scrap, plastic, metal, tubing, wire, broken robot and vehicle parts, rubber tires, crates of building materials, everything but anything of value.
Junk pirates,
Nasher said as he looked across the sea of garbage.
At least they won't find our instruments here,
Stig said, putting his down on the floor. Everyone turned to Chi.
We need to act now. We need to appear as a larger force than just the 5 of us.
They might have sensors.
Winkle said.
They might know exactly how many beings have entered their ship.
I'm not about to be captured here, in a pirate junkyard. I'd rather go down fighting.
Nasher said.
We storm the ship.
Chi said.
No killing unless there's a clear and present threat. Try to intimidate. They look much different than we do. With any luck, we'll come off as terrifying. So make plenty of noise and act like you're unstoppable.
Chi turned to Winkle.
I want to get onto the ship's bridge. Is there any way you can get us there?
Winkle shrugged his shoulders and raised his eye bones.
I can look for signage. I'm not guaranteeing I can translate their language, but perhaps I can decipher a few symbols.
It's better than nothing,
Chi said.
Do we need to carry these anymore?
Nasher held up his earth weapon.
Leave them here.
Chi said. Nasher threw the weapon into a nearby bin of recycled metal parts.
Good riddance.
Nasher, I want you on point. Winkle will be behind you, acting as navigator. I'll watch his back.
Chi ordered. Nasher clicked his spicules and moved to the front of the pack. The rest of the Poison Nickels formed into a single-file formation.
Go,
Chi said from his place just behind Winkle. Nasher moved out, scraping along through the aisles of trash, heaps, and containers. He found the hangar's exit and walked through the enormous sliding doors. He led the rest of the Poison Nickels into a long hallway, surprisingly worn down. He expected the ship to be in better shape. He expected the crew of a pirate so illustrious as Gar to keep the mechanisms in tip-top condition, to clean the corridors, to make the ship shine. But debris cluttered the corridor. Storage containers and boxes leaned in stacks against the walls. Discarded trash cluttered the floor and gathered in the corners. The USS Arlington had degraded out of age. but at least the ice beetles had kept it clean. The poisoned Nichols trotted down the hallway, sidestepping stacks of waste. They came to a place where two doors opposed each other across the corridor. One of the doors stood ajar, a box blocking it open. It attempted repeatedly to close, hitting the box and reopening, whining on its hydraulics, its long neglected wheel and tracking system moaning, begging to be oiled. Nasher raised his rakes defensively and peered into the room behind the oscillating door, half expecting a pirate to jump out at him. The room contained a bunk and a wall of drawers. Nasher pushed the door open and entered. Stig followed. Chi stayed in the hall with the others to keep watch. Nasher and Stig fumbled over the stacks of rubbish and worthless trinkets. A moldy smell assaulted them, coming from under the bunk. They worked their way through the living quarters. Other than the residue of some slobbish occupant, the space stood vacant.
Nobody here.
Nasher said.
Not only that, but nobody has been here for quite some time.
Chi raised his eye bones in confusion. He expected a fight. So far, they'd seen no sign of any crew.
Let's work our way to the bridge.
Chi said. Nasher and Stig came out of the room. Nasher took up point again and led the poisoned Nichols on. At first, they stopped at each door to clear the rooms. They found no sign of the ship's former occupants. In the end, they gave up on clearing the rooms and rushed on, searching for the bridge. After some directionless wandering, they reached a large common area, a lounge, or perhaps an entertainment room. A gigantic screen hung on one wall. A host of chairs, couches, and tables crouched around the room.
This ship is enormous.
Winkle said.
It's impossible to navigate a vessel of this size without 50 crew.
Question is,
Stig said.
where are they?
Are we adrift?
Gorn asked.
We need to find the bridge.
Winkle said. He moved to a series of buttons mounted in a wall control center. After a brief inspection of the system, he pushed one of the buttons. A speaker, mounted in the ceiling, played a message in a foreign language. Winkle turned on his language translator.
Today's menu includes synthetic vegetables, iron, steak substitute, coffee, ice cream, and chocolate cake. Please make a selection.
Winkle pushed another button.
For entertainment options, scroll to the category of your choice. May I recommend a title from the ship's database of feature films?
He pushed another button.
You have accessed the blood drive's information system. Please make a selection.
Winkle clicked his spicules and glanced over the buttons on the keypad. They seemed to be organized into categories and subcategories. He ran a spicule down a line of buttons and selected one.
You are currently in Deck 3, Lounge Maple. Would you like a synthetic apple?
Winkle began pushing more of the subcategory buttons, interrupting the ship's computer voice in mid-sentence with each click.
The blood drive, captained by Gar of the Iron Runners, offers the best. For a list of deck features, access ensigns assigned to this watch are as follows. For your enjoyment, we present the Earth feature film, Megaforce. Now accessing the blood drive's floor plan.
Winkle stopped. This wasn't a computer system, it was merely a kiosk, set to divulge general information about the ship. The giant wall screen blinked to life, a bit jittery with a long crack slashing diagonally across its face. The ship's map flashed up. A blowout of the floor plan took over. One room on the floor plan, marked Lounge Maple, blinked green. A little arrow with a pop-up balloon indicated, "You are here." Winkle studied the map, noting the lines of hallways and rooms. He memorized the quickest way to get from Lounge Maple to the bridge. He turned to Chi and nodded.
Let's move.
Chi said. The poisoned Nichols grouped again into formation, this time led by Winkle, Nasher taking the second position. Winkle led the others along a winding path through corridors and doors, up gangways, through ports, up cases of stairs. He led them without hesitation, the way clearly marked in his mind. At long last, they stood outside a large set of sliding doors at the end of a voluminous hallway.
This is the bridge of the blood drive.
Winkle said, looking up at the tall doors, a pair of sliding masses meeting in the middle.
Everyone off to the side.
She said.
I want 2 skirmish formations. If there's a trap, I plan to evade it.
The group broke up, Gorn and Nasher on one side of the door, Chi, Stig, and Winkle on the other. Once they were in formation, Chi pointed at the keypad next to the large doors and nodded at Winkle. Winkle reached out with one rake and punched in the same code that had granted them access to the blood drive. He scoffed at Gar's lack of security measures as the bridge doors slid open. Everyone stood alert, waiting for a trap, for a bushwhack of some kind, for a security force to come out firing. But nothing happened. The doors merely hissed open without context. After a few tenuous moments, she peered around the edge of the entrance into the bridge. He saw the familiar scene he had beheld back on the USS Arlington's live feed. A bridge full of crew sitting at workstations. A large screen fronted the bridge, set to observation mode. He saw the USS Arlington, now adrift and overrun by voles, in the melanin void of space. She turned to the others and gave a series of rake signals, ordering an assault on the bridge. He finished with a silent countdown.
3, 2, 1.
Poison Nichols rushed the bridge, clicking their spicules, rasping out their war cries. Gorn let her tocsin resound, filling the bridge with noise in hopes of catching the bridge crew off guard, perhaps even convincing them that they were under attack by a force larger than 5 ice beetles. Nasher moved across the bridge and rounded on one of the crew, seated at a control panel. He flicked the edge of the rotating chair with one of his rakes and raised 3 others in a defensive stance. As the chair wheeled around, its occupant lolled sideways. The creature's head bobbed down and whammed against the chair's armrail. The creature came unhinged and rocked forward. Bam! The creature's head smacked down, hard, on the diamond plate floor. Nasher raised his eye bones in confusion. He edged up closer to the fallen alien shape and nudged it with one of his hind rakes. The creature felt lighter than Nasher expected, moving easily with the slightest prod.
Wait a minute,
Nasher said. He kicked the creature over. Its lifeless eyes stared up at the ceiling. A mop of hair fell from its head, cascaded to the floor.
It's dead,
he said. The rest of the Poison Nichols had made similar discoveries, finding their would-be assailants lifeless at their command posts.
They're artificial,
Winkle said, crouching down to a crewman made from some form of synthetic material.
I've got a live one.
Stig shouted from the front of the bridge. The others jockeyed around the various command centers, swiveling chairs and control decks to Stig's position. Stig crouched at the front of the bridge, his first 2 rakes spanned wide, revealing hundreds of needle-sharp spicules ready to pierce the body of his alien prey.
Please don't hurt me.
A voice, tainted with the feedback of a language translator device, came up from beneath the main command console.
Come out from under there,
Nasher ordered, making his way up next to Stig, raising his rakes for a possible fight. The rest of the Poison Nichols gathered, all eyes on the dark space beneath the command center. A pathetic creature, less flesh, even less bones, dragged itself out from beneath the command desk. It looked up at its captors as it emerged. The lines on the creature's blue, hairless forehead deepened as its eyes expanded in fear.
Are you the only living creature aboard this bridge?
She asked, pointing at the alien with a stolid rake. The creature winced away, raising its forearm protectively to cover its face.
Where are Gar and Indian?
The creature asked. Silence. None of the Poison Nichols wanted to deliver news of Gar and his oversized girlfriend's fates.
Where are they?
The crewman demanded.
Dead.
Chi finally said.
Chewed to pieces by the most vile of creatures.
The blue-skinned creature's face went slack. It looked up at Chi, working it out that Chi was the commander of the intruders. The 2 of them made eye contact for a long moment, neither of them knowing what to say or to expect the other to say. The blue-skinned creature pushed itself up onto its haunches, keeping an eye on Chi, as if asking for permission to make every move. Chi and the others allowed the creature to stand. The creature looked at each of the Poison Nichols in turn, sizing them up, not knowing what to make of them. Then, its face peeled into an open grin. It stepped forward, extending one of its gummy appendages toward Chi. Chi raised a rake in defense. The blue creature had no ill intent. It grabbed Chi's rake, spicules and all, and gave it a half-dozen enthusiastic pumps.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
The blue creature said, its smile widening even further.
Thank you. You've saved me from those awful, awful people.
Nasher and Chi looked at one another. Nasher shrugged.
What's your name?
Chi asked.
Packerhound, so that terrible pirate named me. But I don't mind it much. We don't have names on my planet. I kinda like having a name. Don't you?
Packerhound wouldn't release Chee's rake. He just kept shaking it.
Can you navigate the ship?
Chee asked.
That I can.
Packerhound said, finally releasing Chee's rake.
Adapted the entire network I have. I've consolidated the controls of this whole ship so that it can be navigated by a single being. Me.
Amazing.
Winkle said under his breath. The ship was enormous. It could house a crew of 200, he estimated. To navigate such a behemoth would require an entire crew.
That's why they kept me alive.
Packerhound said.
They needed me. The blood drive is much too complicated for them.
What about the others?
Gorn asked from someplace else on the bridge. Everyone looked over at her. She spun a control chair around to reveal the mummified corpse of an alien being. Packerhound put a finger to his forehead and bowed his head.
Dead. All of them. Once I consolidated the controls, Gar killed them all. He wanted all of the wealth for himself.
Packerhound nodded toward the mummified corpse.
That was Icky. Not a nice fellow. I regret to say I didn't mourn him.
Who was he?
She asked.
Gar's first mate. The rest of his crew he launched into space, but he kept Icky as a trophy.
Gar got what he deserved. He and his freakish mate.
Nasher said. Can you access our ship's database? Winkle said. Packerhound smiled and raised one finger.
I've already ingested all of your information. It's a matter of curiosity for me. Information. Whenever we encounter someone in space, I ingest their information. That is, just before.
Packerhound's face lost its crest.
Gar and Innie had killed them.
Can you navigate us out of here? Winkle said. Packerhound smiled.
Where is it you want to go?
We had a locked course on the nearest potentially habitable planet, Winkle said.
In other words, you don't know where you're going. Perhaps I've asked the wrong question. What is it you want to do?
Is there food aboard?
Stig asked.
Plenty.
Packerhound said.
We looted a synthetic nutrient freighter. I adapted the nutrient synthesizers to lock onto genetic signatures and create biologically compatible meals.
Take us to your mill area and we'll discuss our objectives.
She said. Packerhound smiled and hopped once in sheer excitement. He plopped behind his control station and clicked a few buttons in a seemingly random order. The poisoned Nichols watched the atmospheric tube finish retracting into the blood drive, leaving the USS Arlington inert in space. The poisoned Nichols knew that this would be the last they would ever see of the Earth ship.
This way,
Packerhound said, already at the back of the bridge. The poisoned Nichols followed him out into the corridor. For the first time since leaving Hull, the poisoned Nichols ate well. Packerhound had been true to his word. The blood drive, his ship, featured a cafeteria outfitted with nutrient generators that locked onto the biological signatures of almost any organism and synthesized food and beverages accordingly. The ice beetles sank their pincers into bite after bite of the most richly flavored leaves and bark they'd sampled since leaving their home world. For nearly an hour, nobody spoke. They just ate. Packerhound sat in a corner of the room, his arms crossed over his slight chest, smiling at the gusto his new guests displayed in consuming their meals. He waited until they were full and ready to talk. When it was time, G ordered the poisoned Nichols to push their chairs into a half circle around Packerhound.
First, I must thank you for the meal. I honestly haven't tasted rugweed like that since my aunt passed away.
G said. Packerhound giggled, rocking back in his chair, but a sudden change in Chi's demeanor brought Packerhound around. Chi drew a deep breath and closed his eyes. The plight of Hull was difficult for him to recount. He thought about his loved ones left behind to fend for themselves in the haunted ice caverns of the wastelands. Chi gathered himself and started into his story. He told Packerhound about the ancient war between the Voles and the ice beetles. He talked about his love for Tyche, the god of ice, and how even in the face of so much tragedy, he hadn't lost his faith. He told Packerhound about the Voles' new weapon, the Sonic Thumper, and how it had changed the rules of survival for the ice beetles. Chi concluded by outlining the poisoned Nichols' objective to spread the story of their planet and the plight of their species to the furthest reaches of space in hopes that some alien race would find pity on them and come to their aid. When Chi finished, Packerhound, having listened in silence to Chi's entire narrative, sat up tall in his chair and raised one finger.
I will help you,
He said.
What you need is gigs.
What are gigs?
Nasher asked.
A gig is when you get up on a stage in front of hundreds of howling fans and play your music.
Can you get us these goods?
Chi asked.
Gentlemen and gentlewoman.
Packerhound acknowledged Gorn, the only female member of the Poison Nickels, with a kindly nod.
For the maleficent Gar and his creature girlfriend, Inead, I moved mountains. And that was under duress. Imagine what I can do for a cause that I believe in. And make no mistake, I believe in the Poison Nickels.
Chi shifted in his chair and flicked his spicules.
Gar talked of an event called the Pan-Galactic Prom Show. Is that a gig?
Packerhound's irregular mouth curled into a smile so large that it split his face in half.
The Pan-Galactic Prom Show is the gig of all gigs. Alien races gather from across the stars for the prom show's celebration of pomp and magnitude. But, unless I'm mistaken, the prom show will be headlined by none other than Bieber himself.
Who's Deeper?
Stig asked. Packerhound's brows arched up so profoundly that Stig thought the blue alien might be able to place something, perhaps a writing implement or a small bag of stones, behind the folds of skin at his forehead.
You don't know who Bieber is? He's only the biggest music sensation to ever travel across the known galaxy. He came out of nowhere from some obscure planet called Earth, and now he seems to have become music itself.
The Poison Nickels all looked at the floor, shrugs all around.
Are there any other entertainers slated to play the prom show?
Chi asked.
Yes, another Earth act. Earth seems to be the current hotbed for music. It's a band of 8, calls themselves Funk Toast. Funk being a form of music, toast being a form of food. Singed bread from what I understand.
If we're going to learn what it takes to engage in gigs,
Winkle said,
might I suggest that we visit the Pan-Galactic Prom Show as a matter of research? Gar and Inead even spoke of it before meeting their ignominious and poetic, I might add, demises. We can learn more about it from the Blood Drive's database along the way.
Packerhound withdrew at Winkle's suggestion.
It doesn't surprise me that you heard Gar speak of a prom show. Something big is going down at this year's event. It seems that Nolar Jex, the most maniacal pirate in the universe, has taken a special interest in the prom show this year. Every pirate and cutthroat across the galaxy is talking about it. I think attending, it might be a dangerous endeavor indeed.
But with such diversity and races attending, perhaps we can lodge our plea into many hearts from many worlds all at once,
Winkle said.
Well, if Nolar Jex has anything to do with it, many prom show goers will no longer have hearts after this year's gala.
Chi considered Winkle's suggestion. He considered Packerhound's misgivings, then he made a resolution.
Packerhound, can you set course for the Pan-Galactic Prom Show, please? And can you give us access to all you have in the Blood Drive's database about the show itself?
Packerhound graced the Poison Nickels with his contagious smile yet again.
Consider me your navigator and publicist. If you can give me an hour, I'll set course for the Colindrome and access more information than you can possibly digest about the Pan-Galactic Prom Show.
Packerhound wasted no time. Without even a salutation, he left the Poison Nickels in the cafeteria and cut his way through the belly of the blood drive back to the bridge. He had issued his warning about Nolar Jex. They hadn't heeded it. It was of no consequence to Packerhound. He'd always wanted to go to the Pan-Galactic Prom Show. Nolar Jex or not, he couldn't think of anything better than standing in an audience of tightly packed fans dancing and screaming along to the galaxy's brightest musical talent.
Thanks for listening to the show. If you want to support Terrifying Lies, if you want to help it to survive, I would be honored if you would consider backing it at patreon.com/terrifyinglies for even $5 a month. Until next time, I bid you sweet dreams, or should I say, sweet nightmares.
This has been the Terrifying Lies podcast. Please come again. You're welcome here.